So in this video, I want to talk to you, to the men directly, actually, about something that is really popular at the moment, which is not to be vulnerable in front of your woman because it's a sign of weakness. And I want to really dive deep into this for you guys because there's a fine line between weakness and vulnerability, and there's a lot of confusion. So I want to get really clear for you guys. And also, I want you to understand the differences between the two. So, the energy a woman will feel if you are being vulnerable is magnetic. Let me say that again. The energy a woman will feel towards you if you are being genuinely vulnerable is magnetic, not weak. Now, the energy a woman will feel if you are being weak is repulsive. So this is the reason it's really important for you to understand the differences between the two, because they've been mixed up. It's almost like men have been taught that if you're vulnerable, you're weak. And so therefore, that's not what you do in front of your woman. It's not true. It's not true. They're very different and separate things. And the outcome and the result of the two different things are also the opposite, right? So vulnerability equals she'll come closer to you. Weakness should be like, who is this wuss? And move away from you, okay? If you take nothing else from my content and you take this, it will change everything in a split second for you. Here's what it looks like for a man who is being weak. A weak man, and I say weak because it's the energy of weakness. What that does is, it's like a man who is constantly moaning, constantly talking about his ailments and illnesses, and or wakes up and he's tired and he talks constantly about how tired he is. There's a mix up here. People think being vulnerable is talking about your feelings, and it is. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you what the differences are so that you can go, oh, wait, this is weakness. Oh, wait, this is vulnerability. What I like to say is that a man who projects the energy of weakness to a woman is a man who moans a lot, is a man who gets a kick out of sympathy. It's like a little boy. Oh, I've hurt myself here. Can you do this and do that? Because I can't do that. I struggle with booking things and I struggle with apps and I struggle. That is a weak man. It's the most repulsive thing. A man who can't make decisions, a man who struggles with the smallest of things. Listen, we all have our things. I am not saying that, you can't ask for help, but it's about the constant dialect. If that's all you're talking about, if that's all you're doing, it comes across like you need mothering, like a little boy. And that's the most repulsive thing on the planet for a woman. It's like, I don't need another little boy. And what it does is, it means that she has to rise in her inauthentic masculine to, one, take care of you and protect you. Not because she desires it, but because you're behaving like you aren't able to look after yourself. That's weakness, frail, fragile. A man who's vulnerable is a very different frequency. A man who's vulnerable takes his time to go deep into the depth of his soul to speak what's coming up for him, not from a place of moaning energy, but from a place of courage, from a place of deep maturity and grounding. And you'll witness a man being vulnerable because when he speaks his vulnerability, he has tears in his eyes because it's so painful. It comes from a deep place. And the only time a man will be that vulnerable with you is if you have created a safe space, if the women in your world have created a safe space for you to do that. So if your woman has created that safe space and you feel you can speak with courage about the things that you probably never share with anybody, about the things that, so example, I've had quite a few men. In fact, men are so vulnerable with me. They'll tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. Men who have had affairs and not told anybody. Men who have struggled with severe mental illness and not told anybody. Men who have deep, dark secrets that they're so ashamed and so embarrassed about and not told anybody. It's a very different frequency. And the reason a lot of men are fearful of being vulnerable is because in the past, they may have had an experience where there was, and their confidence wasn't kept. And so therefore they coded for that women aren't safe. And yes, it's true that a lot of women haven't been taught how to keep their mouths closed and keep these confidence safe. Because for a woman, you're just expressing your feelings. It's not a big deal, because that's what women do all day long. But for a man, this is huge. For a man to express his feelings and his deepest, darkest wounds is huge. For a man to express to you what happened to him as a little boy, with his relationship with his father, with his relationship with his mother, how he feels, how he has dark nights of the soul that torment him. For him to express that to you is monumental. And so I'm speaking to the women here as well, like, ladies, this is big, like, honor it. And I feel really sad saying this, but a lot of women mock men. A lot of women, when they've been vulnerable, take the piss out of them. And it's the worst thing that you can do to a man who's been vulnerable. A man who's vulnerable shows signs of deep maturity and deep depth. And a woman who has done the work will know that that is deep, like the courage it takes for a man to be vulnerable. And so, gentlemen, when you are vulnerable in this way, it's going to require some energy, some effort, and some real soul searching. You may not even have the words to express what's coming up for you. Alison Armstrong talks about it like it's like you're digging from the well of your soul and bringing it up and out. And it's likely that you've never said it ever before. It's different to somebody who's moaning that they're tired every day. The reason that you've probably not been this vulnerable is, one, like I said, that you've been hurt in the past. And two, if you've had an experience where you've been mocked, it took so much courage for you to say it, and then for it to not be received in the way, in the respect and honor it deserves, means that you shut that down again. And I'm telling you, with the right woman, the courage will be seen and honored and respected. And it will pull her towards you, because the fact that you took that courage to speak your truth, not be a pleaser, and run the risk of hurting others around you, that to me is a warrior. That to me is a guy who absolutely knows the truth of who he is. Because when you speak it, particularly to somebody else, you're speaking it to yourself. So your ears are hearing it. It comes out of your body into frequency of words. And that in itself is super healing. And then when you're accepted for all of who you are, that's the magic. That's the magnetism. And so actually being vulnerable is not a weakness. Oh my God, it's the most powerful thing that you can do in your relationship. It's the most magnetic thing that you can do in your relationship. It's one of the things that if you do regularly in the right frequency, honoring yourself, you will be respected like you have never felt before, with the right partner, with the right woman. It brings a level of deep respect, and it washes away any little boy weakness antics that you've tried in the past. Being vulnerable is a superpower when done correctly with the right person And it's also the most healing thing you can do for yourself. So, gentlemen, I promise you, with the right person, you will gain the most incredible respect because you dug deep and you were the warrior that you are. And it took courage. And you decided to go there. You decided that this is who you are and that you do reveal the truth no matter what, because you can handle the consequences. Yeah, they may hurt, but you will handle it. That's the sign of a warrior. Take care.